Okay guys, what I want to address in this video is a real epidemic that I think we have in our world. And this is an epidemic of loneliness. I believe that despite our uber-connective society that we have nowadays, the way that technology allows us to connect and communicate with so many more people to such a greater degree than before, despite these advances, it seems to me that people are lonelier than ever. We might be surrounded by company, but we're lacking the connection. And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about teaching about relationships and about connection in my work is because I believe that this is a real epidemic. And us as humans, we have this core intrinsic need for connection and for social ties. Even an introvert can't last forever without social connection. It is an intrinsic part of the human condition, and some fascinating research has demonstrated the power of social relationships. There's a researcher called Susan Pinker who wrote a book called The Village Effect, and she conducted some fascinating research into longevity. And what Susan and her team did is they went to cultures and communities in the world which have an abnormally high level of life expectancy, places that were outliers on the standard deviation. And these are places that have a high number of centurions per head of the population. There's these various little communities dotted around the world that are these outliers when it comes to longevity. I know there's an island off the coast of Italy, there's another one off the coast of Japan, there's all these little places all over the world. And what Susan wanted to find was that despite these differences in location and culture, what was the common thread that was causing people to live so much more significantly longer in these places? And so Susan went into these communities and started to analyze all of the different variables and factors that were a part of that particular community's lifestyle. And what Susan found was that when you took all the variables together, there was one variable that stood out. What Susan and her team found was that the single greatest indicator of whether a person lived a long life was the number and strength of social ties that that person had. And indeed, many researchers on a wider scale believe that this is why women generally have a higher life expectancy than men. It's nothing to do with any physical, biological factors. It's to do with social, emotional factors. And what Susan found was that this seemed to be the case in her study of longevity, and that relationships seem to be the key predictor of whether a person lived a long life. In fact, more so than looking at other pretty huge variables such as climate, such as access to water, the type of diet that community had, access to medication, even smoking. What Susan found was that social relationships were a greater predictor of life expectancy than smoking. And such results have been shown by other researchers in the field. For example, a researcher called Dr. Guy Winch, has found that loneliness will actually kill you. Because when we're lonely, we're so much more susceptible to mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts and ideation. So loneliness is going to kill us faster than cigarettes. And what I see in our world right now is so many more people who are lonely. As I said, they're in company, but they're lacking connection. And so what I want to do for the rest of this video is to help you to be able to find that connection if you're in a lonely place, because we all face loneliness from time to time. Loneliness has got nothing to do with being in the company of people, as I've said already in this video. Loneliness has to do with feeling that connection. And there can be times in our lives when we lose that sense of connection. I know for me, a couple times in my life, I felt a sense of loneliness that had nothing to do with company. There were times when I was making a transition from one friendship group to another. The way that I wanted to take my life wasn't conducive to the way that the group was going. And so I found a separation between me and the group I was in. And that creates a sense of loneliness. You start to lose that connection. and you haven't created a new connection to replace that old connection that you had. Another time, of course, was in the immediate months after I lost my dad. There were times again when I would feel really lonely and lost. And again, it had nothing to do with the company that I was in and the people who were around me, who, by the way, were all encouraging and supporting and helpful during this time. It was just a case of I just lost a big connection in my life, and I was struggling to feel the other connections I had in my life. So loneliness has got nothing to do with being popular or how many friends you have. There are just times when this lonely feeling comes up. And what I want to outline are 3 degrees of strategies that you can use if you're feeling in a lonely place right now. And one of these strategies is to focus on past connection. So if right now you haven't got any present connection, then look back to the past where you did. So a great way to do this is through looking through photo albums. So you might want to go onto your Facebook page. You know, we don't even have the old-fashioned photo album covers anymore, do we? It's all online. So go onto your Facebook page and look through past photos. Find those times where you felt joy and you were within the company of others, those great holidays and trips you had, the special family occasions. Go back to those albums and just look through those photos again and see the people that you were with. Feel that connection. Even go to the stage of doing a visualization, closing your eyes and taking yourself back into that time. I remember the conversations that you had, remember the feelings, the emotions, the joy that you had. And returning back to times of past connection can really help us when we're struggling to find present connection. And another way that you can take this up a notch is to call an old friend, get in contact with someone from the past, someone that you haven't spoken to for a while. Just send them an email or a message or get on the phone with them and just have a chat. It doesn't have to have any end goal or objective. I know that people are sometimes a little funny about getting contacted out of the blue today, and I think that's a bit of a sad indictment on the state of our relationships now. But try and get in touch with an old acquaintance and rekindle some past connection. And what that can do is just give you a little trigger of circuitry into current connection. Now, a second strategy that we can use is something called proxy connection. And this is finding present connection right here, right now, that isn't necessarily human to human. So what do I mean by this? What studies have found is that having living things in your environment reduces stress and feelings of loneliness. This can even just be a potted plant, something that doesn't talk to you, something you don't have a conversation with. Even just having that living presence in your environment gives you a feeling of connection. It's connection to another living thing. So if you are in an environment that's a bit sparse and a bit bland, and try and put some life in it. Get some potted plants. You can get them for so cheap in the supermarket nowadays. Get yourself some plants. Make the place around you a living, vibrant place. Of course, you can take this up a notch from plants to animals. So one thing that I remember very fondly in my flat at university was that we had a cat in our flat. It was one point it was 3 guys, then it was 4 guys, and then we had this cat with us. And he was such an affectionate, adorable thing. A bit of a pain at times, but you knew you could count on whenever you came back from university and you maybe had a hard day, you'd been spending a lot of time in the labs or you were working on a deadline. You could come back and our cat just always seemed to have this sixth sense of when you needed a little bit of comfort. And you'd be sitting on the sofa or getting ready for bed, and cat would come up and nuzzle you, maybe even sit in your lap. And it was just so nice to have that warm, unconditional love from an animal. Of course, another mammal, another living thing. And study has shown that you don't need a cat or a dog to do this if you're not really that type of person. Even just having things like fish in your environment, same as the plants, also have those same effects. So if you can, try and find yourself a proxy connection through animals and living things in your environment. Also go outside and seek proxy connection. there's places where you don't necessarily have to be in a one-to-one conversation or a small group. You can still feel connection with other humans around you. For example, you might be going to comedy or a music gig. And when you're in that environment, you are sharing connection with other people. You're sharing the humor and joy of a comedy evening, or you're sharing the joy and energy of going to a music gig. You can still get that little bit of connection, even though it isn't necessarily that full one-on-one intimate type of connection. So that's another way that we can seek proxy trust. Now, for the third and final strategy, we need to look at a long-term management to your loneliness. Because if loneliness is coming up, there's all sorts of different reasons why this might be, but it's probably because for whatever reason, you're not feeling connection with the people that you have in your life right now. Now, this might be something transient and temporary, but if it's not, then you need to start looking at a long-term solution to overcoming this loneliness and rekindling connection in your life. And my number one tip for this is meetup.com. Meetup is an amazing website. I can't believe how much I've gotten out of being part of the meetup.com community. It has allowed me to meet so many interesting and engaging people and become a part of so many interesting and enlightening groups and communities here in my current city. So I only moved here to Bristol in the UK last August, so at the time of filming that's about 9 months ago. And I came here without any existing connections here at all. I came here utterly blind and new to this new city. And I basically forged my way through meetup.com. I just went out there again and again, finding groups and communities that match my interests, and I've been able to build up a massive community and a massive social circle here in this city. In the last 9 months, I've probably added, it's definitely over 200 friends on Facebook. And not just meaningless ads, these are people who I've met with, connected with, engaged with, and really enjoyed their company. And all this came through meetup.com. And for those of you who aren't familiar with meetup.com, it's just a way to find people who are your people. So you go onto the site, you create a profile, you say whereabouts your geographical location is, and then you list all of your interests and things that you're looking for. And meetup.com will pop up groups related to those interests. So whatever it is that you're into, whether you're into outdoor stuff, indoor stuff, whether it's arts, whether it's crafts, whether it's culture, whether it's music, whether it's food, and even if it is a very bizarre combination of things. If you're a vegan who likes board games and listening to Mozart, there is a meetup group for that. It can get super specific on your interests and what you're into. So I'd highly recommend, if you're looking for new connections and maybe overwriting your current connections and your current social circle, then I'd highly suggest getting yourself on meetup.com. It's an awesome website. It really shows the benefits that technology can bring to our relationships. At the start of the video, I was slamming technology a little bit for the way it's caused us to lose our connection somewhat and lose our intimacy with others. But this is how technology can amplify our relationships. So that'll be my third and final recommendation, is get yourself on meetup.com. So guys, I hope that's helped if you found yourself in a scenario right now where you've lost a little bit of connection, where you feel that you're in the company, but you don't have that connection. You're feeling a little lonely, a little lost. And what I'll say as a final message to this video is, if you are feeling a little lonely and a little lost, know that this isn't going to last forever. There is an intrinsic drive within us as humans to find connection, and there's an intrinsic destiny of us as humans to find connection. And this too shall pass. That intrinsic need for humans cannot be overwritten. You can and will find connection again. You just need to be patient, work at it, and keep strong in the process. So guys, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found this information useful. I look forward to sharing more with you in the next one. Until then, go out there and live your life of love and service. I'll speak to you soon. David. Hey guys, it's David again. Just a quick couple things to cover before you have to shoot off. First of all, if you liked this video and if you've been enjoying the content on the channel thus far, then could I ask you to please click that big red subscribe button below. That way you're sure never to miss any content and you can keep up with all the training and knowledge that I'm sharing on the channel. Second of all, if you feel that this video was impactful for you, and if you feel that there's a person or a group in your life who could really benefit from the message in this video, could I ask you please to share it with them? Share it with anyone who you could feel could benefit from this training. You see, I'm doing everything I can to get my message out there to all the people who need to hear it, but there's only so much I can do by myself. So I'm asking you guys, as my fans and supporters, to help me spread this message and help impact as many people's lives as possible. And then third of all, if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about my story and the 3 most powerful life lessons I've learned, then you can find this in my latest book, The Last 60 Minutes. This is a book that will help you find meaning and vibrancy in your life. Go to the video description below and there will be a link where you can look at the book and find out more information about it. And if you find yourself reading it, I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for in there. So guys, until next time, remember to go out there and live a life of love and service. I look forward to speaking to you soon.